Although Geralt of Rivia's story is done, the Witcher series still resonates with fans around the globe. When you think of The Witcher, the video games probably come to mind. After all, it's one of the most critically acclaimed video game series of all time. But before Geralt made his debut on our screens at home, he was being read about by Witcher fans in Poland. How did the Witcher series begin, and how has it evolved? Well, it's time to find out, fellow Witchers! What's up, everyone? I'm Jet Set at the Leaderboard, and this is Then vs. Now, the Witcher series. So let's start with a little history lesson to fully understand the development of the Witcher series. The games are based on the book series by Andrzej Sapkowski, which originally began as stories he wrote for a Polish magazine in the mid-1980s. The Sword of Destiny and The Last Wish were Sapkowski's first books that compiled the stories he wrote in the magazine in the early 90s. Starting with Blood of Elves, Sapkowski continued his stories until he completed a saga that spanned 5 books. These stories followed Geralt, Yennifer, and Ciri and how their fates were intertwined. Although Geralt is one of the main characters of the books, Yennefer and Ciri had equally prominent roles. Their books were finished in 1999, quite a few years before the games became a thing. Naturally, the Witcher series is huge in Poland, Sapkowski's home country, like Game of Thrones huge. But unlike Game of Thrones, the Polish TV adaptation of The Witcher wasn't well received. Luckily though, CD Projekt Red was on their way to pushing the amazing book series into a national spotlight. CD Projekt is a Polish game publisher that was founded in 1994. The Witcher wasn't their first foray into games. They localized an Ace Ventura game, believe it or not, and even worked with BioWare by localizing Baldur's Gate. But then, everything changed when the rights to the coveted Witcher series became available. CD Projekt Red, the game development division of CD Projekt, brought the rights to the Sapkowski series. And here's the kicker. Sapkowski turned down a percentage of the profits for a lump sum. Considering how big the Witcher series has become, we'll call that a mistake. In an interview with Eurogamer, Sapkowski said that he told CD Projekt, "No, there will be no profit at all. Give me all my money right now. The whole amount. It was stupid. I was stupid enough to leave everything in their hands because I didn't believe in their success. But who could foresee their success? I couldn't." And that brings us to the original Witcher video game. It didn't debut until 2007, and most people outside of Poland didn't have any prior knowledge of the series. Launching exclusively on the PC, it was definitely a work in progress. Let's talk about the gameplay of each game, starting with the daddy of them all. The first game has you take the role of Geralt of Rivia, equipped with every Witcher's signature equipment, including a steel and silver sword, potions, oils, and bombs. Oh, and we can't forget the Witcher signs. And how could we? I mean, you can shoot fire out of your hands! But let's not get too excited. We'll talk about the Witcher signs more in a bit. First Witcher's combat is the most different from its sequels. There are 3 different fighting styles: fast, strong, and group. The fast style is, well, fast, allowing you to dish out quick strikes that don't deal a lot of damage. The strong style deals more damage, but it's slower. And if you've got nasty monsters surrounding you on all sides, the group style can be used to hit multiple enemies. The player is free to switch styles whenever they need to. It all sounds fairly standard, but trust us, it's a little weird. So let's break it down for you. The game runs on BioWare's Aurora engine, the same engine that Neverwinter Nights uses. As you can imagine, some of the aspects of a classic RPG carry over. For example, you can pause mid-combat to switch between fighting styles. Different fighting styles let you adapt to different enemy types. For example, if you encounter a heavily armored human opponent, you can pause and switch from the quick style to the heavy style without fear of taking too much damage. Or you can pause to drink a potion if you're getting beaten down by something that totally shouldn't be able to kill a Witcher. Ah, well, it's an RPG after all. In addition to pausing, a lot of people describe the game's combat as almost like a rhythm game. You click on an enemy to initiate combat, and Geralt will start hacking away. While Geralt is sweeping his sword around like a madman, fire can appear on the blade, indicating that you should click again. So you have to time your combos right for maximum efficiency. It's strange, and if you haven't played the other Witcher games, this will sound completely foreign to you. There's also a dodge-like option, but it's pretty clunky and weird. But trust us, if you can get used to these older mechanics, the game is a lot of fun. Now let's look at The Witcher 2's combat and its more modern approach to the genre. The Witcher 2 ditches that clunky old Aurora engine in favor of CD Projekt Red's new in-house Red engine. The Witcher 2's combat allows for much greater movement than its predecessor. It encourages rolling too, which is much easier to use this time around. The combat has been simplified from 3 styles to just a light and heavy attack system. Switching between swords is still still there, and so are the signs we know and love. It's also a more accurate representation of The Witcher's canon fighting style. In the books, Geralt is often described as doing pirouettes in fights, but it would be unwise to call a Witcher a ballerina. Lastly, we have The Witcher 3, the smoothest and most refined combat experience. There are still strong and fast attacks as well as parries and counterattacks. This time around, however, it's much easier to avoid the swing of a sword or the lunge of a monster since you can both dodge and roll. You can dodge to move a short distance and get right back into the fight, or roll further out of danger. Be careful though, because it might take longer to hack and slash at that baddie again. Oh, and we can't forget these cool new inclusions. There's the crossbow, which adds much needed ranged attacks for Geralt. Shoot those pesky harpies with that crossbow and they're going down. And then there's Roach, everyone's favorite horse companion. You can ride him through the world and also engage in mounted combat for those too lazy to walk. Remember those Witcher signs we mentioned? Every Witcher has to have their sorcerer abilities. Each game has the 5 Witcher signs: Ard, Igni, Yrden, Quen, and Axi. Igni shoots fire for some extra damage. That one's my favorite. While Quen is a protective shield. The Witcher 2 added the heliotrope sign, but it didn't make the cut for the newest game. Still, each sign has acted basically the same throughout each game. What changes from game to game, however, is how you choose to upgrade these signs. The first game goes absolutely bonkers with individual skill trees for each sign. There's tons of choices there, and it really rewards those who like to control every aspect of their builds. Witcher 2 and 3 streamlines things with a single tree for magic and other skill trees for alchemy, swordsmanship, and the like. But that's enough about gameplay. Equally important to this franchise is the story. Although the Witcher games are based on Sapkowski's Witcher book series, they are not considered canon. The license that Sapkowski now regrets giving to CD Projekt stipulates that the games will not be canon to the books. With that in mind, CD Projekt's series could be considered one of the greatest fan fictions of all time. Nevertheless, the Witcher games pay respects to the novels with many shared characters and other references to the books. The first game picks up pretty much right where the books end, with Geralt of Rivia waking up after suffering a near-fatal wound. As Geralt is recovering in the ancient Witcher stronghold Kaer Morhen, Salamandra bandits attack and steal Witcher mutagens. Ultimately, your goal as Geralt is to recover the stolen Witcher mutagens before the Salamandra bandits become more Witcher-like? Is that a word? You get the point. The second game takes place in the Northern Kingdoms like the previous game. In The Witcher 2, you have been framed for the assassination of King Foltest, and your goal is to find the real murderer and clear your name. Unique to this game are 2 major different story paths to choose from. One has you follow the Temerian Vernon Roche, not to be confused with the horse Roche, and the other involves the elf Yorwith. The third game sees the return of Ciri, a protagonist of the book series and Geralt's adopted daughter. Throughout the game, you make your way all throughout the Northern Kingdoms as you try to find out where Ciri is. Of course, it might take a while because there's a gigantic map full of stuff to do. It's fine, Ciri can wait. She'll be fine. Only the Wraiths of the Wild Hunt stand in your way. Not a problem. While each game's map is pretty sizable, the one in The Witcher 3 truly dwarfs its predecessors. In the first game, you spend most of your time in Vizima. In the second, you adventure from the war-torn Temeria to the dwarven town of Vergen. While those locations are all quite big, they're nothing compared to the ones in The Witcher 3. You've got 5 massive zones, from the beautiful Skellige Isles to Toussaint. It's best to wrap up with Toussaint, as it was included in the Blood and Wine expansion and acts as an end to the Witcher video games. And what a fitting end indeed. The wonderful, idealistic land of Toussaint is filled with great food, great people, and vampires. Okay, so maybe it's not so great after all. Vampires are not very nice. Except Regis, the nicest vampire in the world. You'll be working with Regis to stop a massive vampire threat that can destroy Toussaint. But really, don't rush it. This expansion is a love letter to the Witcher universe, featuring plenty of references from the books and the games. It's sad to see The Witcher done and over with, but what a fitting farewell. What does the future of this franchise hold? Well, we know that Geralt is going to be a playable character in Soul Calibur 6, making it the first time ever that we've seen Geralt outside of the Witcher series. There's also Gwent, and no, we're not talking about the minigame, but the actual full Gwent card game developed by CD Projekt Red. While you could just boot up The Witcher 3 and play it there, the full Gwent card game is totally awesome for you Witcher fans wanting more. Lastly, Netflix picked up the rights for a live-action Witcher TV series. Hopefully it'll be better than the Polish Witcher show from the early 2000s that failed miserably. Looking at Netflix's track record with video game shows? Looking at you, Castlevania. There is a good chance it'll be a good one. I'm Jet Set with the Leaderboard. Consider clicking subscribe if you like this video. Thanks for watching Then vs. Now, the Witcher series. Make sure to like and follow for more videos.